All right, so we're diving into 100 Flowers by Gail Tsukiyama. And it seems like you're looking for kind of a cheat sheet on the plot and the big themes and like the standout moments,
Yeah.
before you jump in and read the whole thing.
Exactly. A good overview to help you appreciate all the nuances of the story.
Gotcha. Okay, so picture this. It's 1958
Okay.
in Guangzhou, which was called Canton back then.
Right.
And we're this really cool district, Dongshan, a place known for beautiful villas and courtyards, very European style.
No,
And that's where we meet the Li family. 7-year-old Tao, his mom, Kai Ying, she's a skilled herbalist.
yeah.
And then there's his grandfather, Wei.
Okay.
He's a retired art history professor. But right from the start, like even though Tsukiyama creates this vivid picture of their lives, there's this underlying tension.
Right.
Because China is under Mao Zedong's rule and, the aftermath of the 100 Flowers campaign is still kind of looming over everything.
Yes. This campaign is really crucial to understanding the whole story. So basically, back in 1956, Mao, he actually encouraged people to criticize the Communist Party. But then, he turned around and persecuted those who actually spoke out.
Oh, wow.
It's a pretty stark reminder of just how quickly things can change, politically.
Yeah, that's intense. And does this campaign directly affect the Li family?
It totally does. Tao's dad, Shang, a teacher, he was arrested for a letter he supposedly wrote criticizing the party. We don't know all the details yet.
Okay.
But it's obvious his absence is weighing heavily on everyone.
So then there's this event that's super symbolic. Tao, always the curious one, decides to climb this massive kapok tree in their courtyard.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and this tree, it's not just any ordinary tree. It represents so much, the family's history,
Right.
their connection to the land.
IT.
Even the whole changing landscape of China itself. It's like this living metaphor for their resilience, enduring nature of things.
Yeah, I get that.
But Tao, being a kid, obviously doesn't see all that. So he climbs the tree and he falls and breaks his leg. Yeah. And this fall triggers a whole chain of reactions for the family.
Oh, I see. So it forces everyone to confront their fears.
Exactly. Their hidden vulnerability.
Yeah.
So we see Kai Ying step up, showing how strong and resourceful she is as she cares for Tao. But at the same time, Wei's battling his own inner demons. Grief, guilt. He feels like he's losing his place in the family.
Interesting.
It's like the fall cracked open the surface of their lives,
So,
revealing all these complex emotions that were simmering underneath.
yeah, that makes sense.
And then, as if things weren't complicated enough, this young pregnant woman, Suyin, shows up on their doorstep during a monsoon.
Oh, wow.
Talk about adding to the drama.
Gosh.
But Kai Ying, being the compassionate person she is, she helps Suyin deliver the baby.
Wow, that's pretty incredible. So this act of kindness says a lot about Kai Ying's character, but Xin's arrival also brings the flair of mystery and unease. We know she's running from a troubled past.
Yeah.
And there's this feeling that her presence might disrupt the family's fragile equilibrium.
It makes you wonder, how do you open your home to a stranger when you're already dealing with so much uncertainty yourself?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that question kind of echoes throughout the story. It speaks to those themes of compassion, taking risks, and the unexpected ways that we connect with others, even in tough times.
I see. And then there's Wei, consumed by guilt over his part in Sheng's arrest.
Right, we still need to unpack that.
Yes, definitely. He decides to embark on this incredible journey to Luoyang to find his son, who is in a re-education camp.
Now for anyone who isn't familiar with that term,
Yeah.
beef camps were basically prisons. The Chinese government used them to indoctrinate and punish people who they deemed politically subversive. So you can imagine the hardship and danger that Wei is facing.
Definitely. It's incredible that he'd risk everything for his son.
And if,
But it's also clear that he's running from his own past, trying to fix something that haunts him.
yeah,
It's not just about finding Shang. It's about him confronting his beliefs
kind of,
and coming to terms with life under Mao's regime. He meets so many people along the way, each with their own story of loss and disillusionment. I was really struck by this detail about a carved line on the interrogation room table in the camp. Wei sees it as a symbol of the Yellow River
oh, wow.
and an act of defiance.
Powerful. So even in this place designed to crush individuality, someone found a way to resist.
Exactly. It's a tiny act of resistance, but it speaks to the resilience of the human spirit.
Mm.
And it makes you wonder how much of that resilience Wei himself will discover.
That's a great question. And it kind of leads us to what this book is really about, that search for strength and hope when facing unimaginable stuff.
I see. And as ways on this journey, back in Guangzhou, Kai Ying and Tao are figuring out their new reality, and Suyin's adding her own layer of complexity to the mix.
Right. It's almost like Tsukiyama's weaving these parallel stories, to show us the different sides of resilience. Kai Ying's quiet strength, Wei's desperate search for redemption, and then Suyin's determination to rebuild.
Yeah. And all this is happening against this backdrop of a society in turmoil, where suspicion and fear are everywhere.
Absolutely. But even with all that darkness, Tsukiyama finds these little glimmers of beauty and human connection. And that's what makes this book so captivating.
It's like a reminder that hope can still exist, even in the toughest situations.
Exactly.
Okay, so before we move on, we've got to address the elephant in the room. Their whole family secret about Sheng's arrest.
Oh, right. You mean that letter he supposedly wrote? Well, it turns out...
What were you saying?
Yep. Wei was the one who actually wrote it. Sheng took the blame to protect his dad.
Wow. That changes everything. No wonder Wei is so eaten up by guilt. He basically sent his own son to prison.
Exactly. And this just adds a whole other layer to their relationship. It's not just fatherly love. It's betrayal, sacrifice, and a desperate need for forgiveness.
So we've set the stage. A family broken by political turmoil. A young boy's fall revealing hidden anxieties.
Yeah.
And a mysterious woman seeking refuge.
Right. But the real journey is just beginning.
It is.
Stay tuned for part 2. We'll get into the emotional reunion between Wei and Sheng, dive deeper into Suyin's past, and explore how this family finds ways to heal and rebuild.
All amidst these huge challenges.
Exactly.